Hello people, you're welcome back to Tiwa Says, and today I'm going to be interviewing someone special. And because it's so special, we didn't bring him to our studio, we had to go to him. You can imagine how important he is. His name is Mr. Olumide Iyanda. He is the CEO and publisher of QED. That's a media house. But he's also a seasoned journalist. In that, I am very interested. So today we are going to be asking what his typical day is like, and all those other questions about family and all that. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself now. Sir.
Okay, my name is Olumide Iyanda. I work for QED. I'm the publisher CEO. You said that already.
Yeah, I said that, but
yeah, yes. I mean, okay, and look, like Ali Baba will say, I need little or no introduction.
Yes.
Does that work?
That works. I'm sure you know him already. So like I said, we came to him, we came to you. So I want you to tell us what your typical day is like.
My typical day is very boring. So I live each day as it comes. I live one day at a time. So I don't, apart from the fact that I wake up around 6 a.m. in the morning, I do a little bit of exercise. I walk. Oh,
you do exercise?
I do that every day. I try to walk. Some days I walk 30 minutes, some days I walk 2 hours. It depends. I do that at the spirit leads. Apart from that, then I walk. Most times I work from home.
Okay.
Sometimes I come to the office. So that's my typical day. I mean, then I just let it flow. I just let it flow.
Interesting. So we know that you have over 20 years, experience in journalism. So what would you like to take us on your journey? How has it been?
Well, it's been interesting. These days I say I am semi-retired, but I'm actually obsessed about journalism. Although I've been in the management side of journalism for a while, but I still get involved a lot in the editorial bits too. I'm interested in what goes into my publication. And I've been that way since I was in secondary school. I started journalism in secondary school, and I continued at university. Those who knew me in university will easily tell you that Olumide was notoriously popular at the University of Ibadan. I was the editor of a very popular magazine. If you are in the University of Ibadan between 1989, I think, and 2000, you will probably know of Echoes magazine. I edited it for 2 years, and yeah, so that took my journalism experience to a different level. Then when I graduated, I actually didn't want to do journalism again because I thought I was tired. I was tired of dodging bullets and facing lecturers and students asking questions. But I stayed at home for a while, and people said that, look, just go. I mean, this is what you do naturally. I went to Temple, met Mr. Mr. Babafemi Ojudu. He employed me immediately, and that was 1999. And since then, I've been here. From Temple, I went to Punch. From Punch, I went to Saturday Independent. I edited Saturday Independent for about 6-7 years. Then I went to the Niche. Then I started QED in 2014.
Interesting. So if you didn't do journalism, what would you have done?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I would have wanted to do would be something related to music.
Oh, really?
I like music.
You like music?
Yeah, I like music a lot. But
Can you sing?
I realized early in life that I cannot sing to save my life.
I wanted you to sing.
I've always said to people that I can't sing. I can't play any musical instruments.
Oh, wow.
So as a frustrated musician, I started journalism by writing entertainment. Yeah, so while I was in, people remember those who knew me when I was very active, very, very active. You know that, yeah, I mean, that guy used to write entertainment. I mean, I wrote entertainment for Punch. I wrote a bit of entertainment for Tempo, and I still do entertainment. Yeah,
so how do you know that you can't sing? Did you try?
I mean, my voice is, I mean, the first thing everybody says to me every time this is your voice, just, and I took that seriously, and I said, well, okay.
What about the instruments? Did you try anyone?
My mom bought me a guitar. when I was still very young. Okay. But my mom died pretty young.
Oh wow, sorry about that.
So I was still young when she died, and maybe that made me just like just forget about this thing. And my mom also wanted me to be a doctor because my dad was working. I can imagine. Because my dad was actually working in the Lagos State Health Service then. Oh. But I couldn't get myself to pass mathematics, so I didn't even bother. I failed mathematics. So when I wrote WAEC, the day I went to write WAEC, I knew that I wasn't going to pass mathematics. So I didn't even attempt to try. I didn't bother.
You could have passed though. At least pass mark. Let my people go.
There was no way I could have passed mathematics. I knew that. I didn't even attempt to do it.
You didn't try?
I didn't try. I never did from secondary school because my mind was not there. I've always known that you should do that for which you are interested in and which you have a passion and strength for.
True.
So mathematics, I mean, it's like these days, I say to, I mean, it's not as if you can't do the odd calculations and all of those, so don't get me wrong. But all those odd...
Even if you can't do odd calculation, I'm sure you'll be able to count money.
But all those ones, I just knew that because of what I wanted to do back then, I knew that I didn't need mathematics. Because back in secondary school, my favorite subject was actually history. And that was what I studied at the University of Ibadan. I didn't study journalism at university. It was later that I became the best journalist. I told people that I didn't study journalism in UI, but I left as the most popular journalist on campus. Although a lot of people didn't know my face, but they knew my name.
They didn't know you, but they knew your works.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you describe journalism today? Is it like when you started?
No, it's not like when I started because the world
has
changed tremendously. But what I can say is that journalism has evolved. There are tools now that you can use to enhance your job. The kind of tools that were not there when I started. I mean, when I started, there was no GSM in Nigeria then.
Sure. Very
few people had email. The internet, there was no internet. The internet, as we know it now, wasn't available then. I mean, there was no social media and all of that. So a lot has changed. Now, you are even talking about a lot of AI and all of that.
Yes.
But the most constant thing...
That AI, we should put a pin on it. Because the other day, sorry to cut you, the other day we were discussing in the office and I was like, this AI thing, you know, we have other people in the office and the Gen Zs and they're like, AI is this, AI is that. But I'm like, AI, it doesn't allow people to think. It doesn't give you individuality these days, you know, because people just want to, okay, I want to write about this AI. And they've written and it brings out, you know. I was like, AI turns everybody into a clone, sort of. Because when you use AI, you use AI, our writing would be similar. We would have the same style. So where is individuality? And that's what writing is supposed to be about. I'm supposed to have my style, have your style. But with the introduction of AI, I don't know. So it has its good and it has its bad. Sorry to cut you.
I mean, the thing about AI, just like you said, is that you still have to bring your own individuality to it. Because at a point, if everybody... I mean, you know AI when you see AI.
Exactly.
And the truth of the matter really is that there's actually nothing new under the sun. There's no idea that anybody has that if you really, really go down to it, that is so original. An idea is only original until you find the person that has done it before. The only thing that sets us apart is our individuality, our person.
Exactly.
So if I'm doing what you are doing right now, I can say, okay, look, I like what Tiwa Says. I like Tiwa Says, and I want to take inspiration from it. I can actually take inspiration from it. What is going to eventually set me apart is my personality. It is what I'm going to bring into it.
Yes.
So even in my career as a journalist, people say, Olumide, you did this, wonderful. I remember my years in active reporting, when I was reporting active. Not active, because I still do active journalism. People say, I'll say to them, look, what I did was look at what someone is doing, then adapt it to what I am doing. So AI is good, but you still need that human element. But let me give you an example. If you give someone, for those of us who do voice interview, if you throw that interview to AI to transcribe for you, most times I've found out that you still need to go back and work on that interview because you'll see that there are some words that you won't get right. And even when it is perfect on those, I mean, if you say now, I mean, imagine, for instance, I can say to AI that imagine me, put my name there, put everything, imagine me talking to Tiwa Says. AI will give me everything. But you see, if I read out, I will know there are some things about me that I will know. So that
exactly.
is the little things
you,
that you still, so AI is good. Everybody, here we embrace it too. But we still want to see that human element in what we do.
Exactly. Okay, so what would you say it takes to be a good journalist? What does it take?
What it takes, I think you need to be interested in it first. Okay. Sometimes, I mean, in the past, I used to say to people that it takes three things. Number one is passion. Number two is passion. Number three is passion. But you need to also be disciplined and be consistent, because passion can take you just so far. You need to be disciplined. You must continue to innovate. You must continue to adapt to your environment. I like to be around people who are younger than me, because they keep showing you things that are possible. Kids, I mean, young people don't have most of the hang-ups that we have. They see possibilities. So if you hang around them a lot, you see new things. So passion, you must be disciplined, because if you are passionate about something and you are not disciplined, you are wasting your time. And you must innovate. You must innovate. And also know that journalism, at the end of the day, is a business.
Okay. So what's the difference between journalism then and journalism now, apart from AI?
No, I mean, apart from, okay, so I don't like to sound this way. I also think that a lot of people are not taking advantage of the opportunities they have. When there was no online publication, there was no online, everybody then, we had hard copies. We were doing print edition, that was what we were doing then. And in the newsroom then, we used to write our stories on what we call off-cuts. That is a newsprint. We waste. We wrote our stories, pen on off-cuts. You give it somebody, someone will type it for you. Then the person will now move from typesetter to proofreader to this and all of that. If you needed a picture, you go to the library. If the picture is not in the library, you go to another library. So if you're working with Temple, for instance, I started with Temple, we'll go to Daily Times Library on Agidingbi Road. If you're unlucky, somebody has taken the picture or the reference material you need to, then you go to Guardian. If you can't find it in Guardian, you go to Punch. These days, all you need to do is just Google. You Google and you see the picture. If you need any information, you Google it, Google will give it to you. AI will also give it to you. Back then, you'll have to go to a library and you look for the book. If you're unlucky, some I don't want to say some bad people would have taken the book or tore the page that you need, or they would have taken the book and they will take the book and hide it somewhere else, so that whenever they need it, they can always go there. So there was no mobile phone, so you need to interview someone in Lekki. Some days you need to go to the house of that person in Lekki and hoping that the person is there. Was there. So it was like that. But it was also fun. I was young. I was not married then, so I could run around. I had fun. I don't know if people will say they have fun too. It's different now. So, like I said, the tools. Back then, so some of the people I also met on the job would also say to me that, you guys were enjoying it. During our time, what we used to do was Alpha, Echo, Delta, and all of that. So, you keep innovating, you keep evolving. But now, print journalism is not as big as before. Almost everybody now consumes their content in a digital format. So a lot has changed, really. A lot has changed. You're
right about that. You mentioned that you used to write a lot about entertainment. So why did you leave that side?
No, I still do entertainment. If you check some of my videos now, you will still see me talk entertainment. Okay. I have one of my staff here. We discuss entertainment every week, and we post the video on our YouTube channel. So I still do entertainment.
But what do you do mostly now?
Because I'm the CEO now. Okay. I pay salary, I run the business, I run the company. So I do what CEOs do, which is to run the business. But because I'm still a journalist, I still get involved in the editorial bit. I don't want to be obsessed with editorial and let the business suffer.
Okay.
That is the mistake some people make. And I find a lot of my colleagues in the media make that kind of mistake. They're obsessed with the editorial bit and they let the business part suffer. I've learned that you should trust your staff more.
Yeah,
you should let the people you've employed to do these things, let them do it more. I like a quote by Miles Davis: do not fear mistakes because none exist. So I let them do what they want to do and let me do what I want to do. So that is why I don't do as much entertainment as I would have loved to. And besides, it's not, I mean, I also write, I edited the newspaper for 7 years. So that would mean that I also do politics, I also do business, I also do human interest, and I do all of that. But because I started out as an entertainment journalist, that's my primary constituency. Most of the awards I won were as entertainment journalist, and most of the travels I did were to film festivals, music shows, and stuff like that. So I never stopped. I'm still an entertainment writer at heart.
Okay, good to know. So now you said you are the CEO now, so it's like you are less busy.
I'm busier than less busy.
Well, okay, I mean what I mean by less busy is, we know that journalists, they are always busy and they're always chasing after one story, going from here to Abuja today, Abeokuta tomorrow, even outside states, you're always traveling. That's what I mean. So I think you are doing less of travel now.
I still do a lot of travel.
You still do a lot of travel?
I need to do a lot of networking.
Okay, so with all that means you are still very, very busy.
And so, like I said to you, look, now let me say something to you. I also don't subscribe to this idea of being busy, that you also do not have your time structured. I think that it is bad time management when people say that they are too busy to do whatever it is that you want to do. 16 hours a day for work, for me, is enough. If you tell me that you cannot work around, there are few occasions when you have to do, but you can structure your time. It is bad time management when people say they can't see.
Yeah.
I think it's bad time management. Even when I was on the field, of course, I used to attend shows. There were days when I didn't sleep at home for days. I remember when Shaggy came to Nigeria in 2001, I was on the road for 72 hours. I didn't sleep at home for 3 days. But apart from that, when it comes to the day-to-day running, day-to-day activities, my day-to-day activities as a journalist, even now, I make time out for myself. I'm not getting younger, and I can get a lot of things done. Even I don't have to be in the office today. The reason I'm here right now is because of this interview. I can work from home. And I've also learned that most of the times when people say they are waiting for one breaking story, that's why they are not sleeping. It's because they didn't manage their time well. Most stories, I've been in this business for 25 years, actively as a professional for 25 years. If a story breaks, take that from me. Even if you are sleeping, someone will contact you.
Even if you are sleeping, How in the spirit realm? How will you guys contact?
So now, let me give you this example. The people who know me, they have my phone number. We say this. This is something we say in journalism, that as a journalist, you must always be by your phone.
Yeah.
So there's a story that I tell people. One of my favorite persons in this business. I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not going to mention the media organization that he worked with for back then. But he will know. People who know this story will know what I'm talking about. When Bola Ige died, the night Bola Ige died, they had gone to bed. The newspaper had gone to bed that night. The newspaper had gone to bed. So the editor, we call him Egbon. Egbon, I'm sure you know that I'm telling your story, but I'm not going to mention your name. So Egbon had gone home and Egbon had gone to sleep. So someone had the story that Bola Ige was dead. And the person called Egbon's phone. Egbon didn't pick the call. This person went to Egbon's house with lantern, because maybe torchlight or something, and knocked on Egbon's door and woke Egbon up. Then Egbon, they rushed down to Mangoro I'm sure now that I've mentioned Mango, people know the kitchen I'm talking about. They rushed down to Mango. Then they managed to put that story in the newspaper.
Wow.
So, well, there'll be few occasions where, some odd occasions where you maybe miss and all of that. But that story taught me that you will get the story. And it has happened to me several times. When I'll be sleeping. When the Alaafin of Oyo died, it was the last person that I expected to call me that called me that the Alaafin of Oyo died. We've broken a lot of stories here at QED, even when I was not in the office. When Chief Ganifa Wemi's son died, we broke the story. When Chief Professor Sophie Oluwole died, we broke the story. We were not in the office. When Raskimono died, we were one of the first people to write the story. Our website crashed on that day.
Wow.
So what I'm trying to say is that most of the times when people say that they have to walk around the clock, it is because of bad time management. Barack Obama was the president of the US for 8 years. I don't think he gets bigger than being the president of America. The guy said that he goes home to eat dinner with his wife, with his family most of the time. So some funny politician or MD in Nigeria will say he doesn't sleep. Bad time management. So so if I now say to you that I can't sleep, am I as have I managed anything close to what? You can say that Obama had a lot of structure around him, but you hear Nigerian politicians who don't do anything. A lot of people really don't do anything, saying that we are doing meetings till 1 a.m. The meetings that they are doing.
Exactly. So how do you disperse? How do you unwind with all this? How do you unwind?
How do I unwind?
Yes.
So how do I unwind? Like I said to you earlier, I don't have a pattern to most of the things I do apart from what I do in the morning. So I spend time with friends. I spend time with my family. I do a lot of reading as much as possible.
What do you read?
News, books, whatever catches my fancy at that point.
Okay, you don't have a specific genre?
No, I don't. My taste in everything is Catholic. That means that it is wide. My taste is wide in anything. There's almost nothing that I do not consume. Wow. Almost nothing.
Interesting. Okay, let's bring it back to Nigeria. This new national anthem.
Don't go there. I'm not going there.
No, I just want to ask if you can recite it.
Of course, I can recite, but I'm not going to recite it because okay, I can recite it. I was young now it's not new now. When I was in primary school, I was
yes, that's true. But I didn't know that there was a second and third stanza.
Well, I'm not sure I can recite the second and third stanza now, but I never forgot the first stanza now.
Yes, that's true.
I was of age when the national anthem changed.
Yes,
so,
yes. But you are not going to comment. You are not going to comment.
No, I don't. I try not to I try not to do political commentaries. I try not to do. There are two areas that I don't comment about. Okay. Politics and religion. And ethnicity, maybe to an extent.
Those are all sensitive areas. So you're not going to comment about the strike, national grid, putting the whole country in darkness. Do you think the strike was for a worthy cause?
All I can say to you is that we have been here before.
Exactly.
We've been through this several times, this harrowing experience. And the idea of doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Maybe I'm just indifferent to these things. I was made to spend extra years in the university because of ASU strike. So I've been at the receiving end of strike. I was quite aware during the military days. I've always known strike. I've always known fuel scarcity. Yes. I've always known blackouts. I've always known Nigeria being in crisis. So that's why, to a large extent, I don't discuss politics because my expectation of politicians, I have little, if no expectation from them. That's why I'm not surprised whether they get, I'm not surprised. We've been through this road before. So I I mean, I said the best way to be the best president Nigeria never had, is to lose an election. Because you can always say that. I would have done it better.
Yeah.
I would have done this better. But people make promises and they get there. You find that maybe the job is overwhelming or something. But I've just always known Nigeria in distress. Nigeria has always been in distress.
So what's the way out? Are we going to continue like this? Are we always going to be in distress?
Have faith. I mean, you're a person of faith. Have faith.
We've been having faith since. So
maybe you should have faith.
Continue.
Maybe, but I just think that you cannot create a problem. You cannot solve a problem using the things that created the problem.
Wow.
So most of the times we are trying to solve our problems using the things that cause the problem.
God help us. So any last words for, upcoming journalists, people who want to go into journalism or people who are already there now? Any last words? Well,
I think all my last words have been just to be passionate about what you want to do, and to enjoy it, and to be disciplined, be consistent. You will not now, especially in these days of digital journalism, content creation, and all of that, and the pressure of seeing what people are doing on social media. Everybody thinks that they want to be the next big person on social media. They want to be the next big content creator. It is good to have dream, but you also need to know that you have to be consistent. You have to work towards it. You are not going to become a Mr. Macaroni overnight. Mr. Macaroni is not an overnight success.
Exactly.
Burna Boy, Davido, everybody, nobody is an overnight success. So you have to work towards what you want. And don't be afraid to be anything. Try anything. If you do anything and nothing is a mistake, take it from me. Whatever you see that appears as a mistake is actually a learning process. It's a stepping stone for you to get to where you want to go. Because if you didn't take that step, you won't get to where you need to go. So be consistent. Like what you are doing. Do not compare yourself to others. I mean, like we say in Yoruba land, do not compare yourself to others. And do not also be afraid to steal ideas from other people.
Because I wanted to say that when you said do not compare yourself to people, in Nigeria, we have this thing, this mindset. Once you see somebody towing this line, everybody now wants to do that line. Everybody wants to do that.
Maybe what I should say is that be inspired by other people. Look, Tiwa.
Be inspired but be unique.
Look, the only thing unique about you, Tiwa, is your person.
Yes.
It is your person that you are going to bring into what you do. Exactly. So when you now bring that your person into it, that your person will now create what you want to be. This is that your person.
Yeah.
So what you do is a creation of your uniqueness. Everybody is unique.
Yes. Starting
with your thumbprint. Everybody. There's nobody that is doing anything that has not been done. I'm going to use another Yoruba word expression. There's nothing new on that. The only thing that is new is you. You must bring yourself into everything that you are doing. So when you now bring yourself into whatever you are doing, you will not be able to go through different stages. You will not bring in different style. My favorite musician, they are my two favorite musicians of all times, Miles Davis and Fela Anikulapo Kuti. Both of them started playing like doing what others were doing. Miles Davis was inspired by the Dizzy Gillespie's, Charlie Parkers of this world. But later he went through different stylistic stages in his musical evolution. He did bebop, he did rock, he was inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame. He was a jazz musician. And perhaps he produced what is considered as one of the best jazz albums ever. Kind of Blue and Beaches Blue. Fela Kuti, at a point, was singing I Life. He was singing I Life at a point. Then he went and changed his style. Then he did Afrobeats and all of that. His Afrobeats has rock elements. It has pop elements. He was inspired by a lot of people. He was even inspired by this same Miles Davis. They both inspired each other. So what I'm saying to you is this. Do not be afraid to take ideas from people, but be unique. Fela, if I tell you now, you say Fela was unique. Miles was unique. but they actually started from almost everybody started from somebody. The band will tell you that it was inspired by Fela. You see element. I mean, you see Burna Boy. Burna Boy is perhaps the biggest beneficiary of Fela's legacy. I mean, well, he's one. Okay, let me say he's one of the biggest beneficiaries, but he's unique. Burna Boy brought Burna Boy into. So don't compare yourself, but don't be afraid to learn and be inspired by other people.
Good advice. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having us today. It has been a pleasure. We are grateful.
Thank you for coming. And maybe someday you tell the real story of why you have to come to my office. You make it look as if as if I'm the one that
watch out for part 2.
As if the reason why you have to come
hear that one. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And that is the end of today's show. Watch out for our next episode, and don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles on the Eagle Online. I'll be seeing you.